of VSW. Tonight, we have a very, very special guest. Former.
That's right. That's right. The former WWF Hall of Famer. But it's not just me. It's not just me here this evening, because for the first time ever, doing the podcast with me is the epitome of masculinity, the pimp of the pile driver, the man who puts the X in sex, the dashing debonair, the king of Sting, the Count of Monte Fisto, the throwback thoroughbred, the personification of physical perfection, the ambassador of kick your asseter. He's simply the best, the gold standard of podcasts, the podcasting prince, the pillar of podcasting, world-class Channing Thomas.
It never gets old. It never gets old. Fantastic intro. Thank you, SIdney Bakabella. Thank you, Mr. Versace Stoner, for having me on your podcast tonight. I'm very excited.
And good to see you, Bakabella. You know, the last time I talked to you, you were heading down to Jersey to fight some little girl. I don't know, some Abby Jane birthday party. I'm glad you made it out of there.
Yeah, what happened to her? Everybody thought she was going to be this big thing. Nope. I'll put the kibosh on your run. I'll put the kibosh on your career. You get in there with me. I broke her ankle. We haven't seen her since.
Nope, we haven't. I tell you who we have seen a lot of recently, and that is world-class Channing Thomas.
All over the place.
You know, he is just now a name that is just synonymous with New England pro wrestling. And not just any kind of New England pro wrestling, good pro wrestling. You're working for two of the top companies in the area. I mean, you got Beyond and Limitless, both won your holding title. You know, we've seen you all over Let's Wrestle. We've seen, Wrestling Open. I've seen you, in your earlier days too, though. And that's where we're going to start a little bit, is your earlier days. When I first saw you were in NCW, you were holding titles there. You were working tags with Vern. You were fighting with your friend Brian Goslin. There was a little feud there, friends, enemies. But that's where I first found it. How did you first find pro wrestling?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
When did you first find pro wrestling?
When did I first find pro wrestling? I found it on the UPN Thursday Night SmackDown back in about 2005. And I was actually just telling someone this the other day. The first pay-per-view I ordered was Judgment Day, which was a double bloodbath with JBL and John Cena. It was an awesome match. So.
And once you saw that, you were just hooked. You're like, I need to get into this profession.
Hooked for life.
Kind of how I was with WrestleMania 2. I became a fan for life. Seeing King Kong Bundy in a steel cage. I know Bakabella knows. He's from those era days. He knows the territories. He knows what wrestling used to be like. And you know what? You kind of brought what wrestling used to be like back to New England. You have a very unique style in your wrestling. It's very technical. It's very old-fashioned. Where did you start your training at?
I've trained for a myriad of places. I first originally started at the Bell Time Club with Bo Douglas and Benny Jooks, and my first training partner was Alec Price. Me and him came together. Kowalski guys. Put the claws up. Yep. There we go. Put the claw up. So then I went on to train with Ryan Waters down at the Top Rope Wrestling Academy in Fall River. Trained there for about
Dudley.
Spike Dudley. And then after that, I did a little bit with the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Vinny Marseglia, as well as Ken Doan, and at the Beyond Pro Wrestling Institute of Pro Wrestling. What the hell is Drew calling it?
It's something like that.
BioPro.
The Drew School.
The Drew School. BioPro.
That's quick. So that's great. I mean, and that's a lot of different hands that you've learned knowledge from, starting with the Kowalski guy. You know, they always say Bo knows best.
Yep.
Um,
Bo does
you know,
know.
and then like I said, you went over to H2O. H2O runs great shows. Ryan Water does an amazing job out there.
Yes, he does.
And you know, and so does it Beyond. I mean, they produce some of the greatest TV talent that you've seen today. You know, one day they're, you know, in Worcester, the next day they're, you know, on AEW or on, you know, SmackDown or wherever they might want to go. And that's what's great about this scene here. People are moving so fast. You know, for years I've heard your name, you know, be talked about as the next best thing to, you know, break out of New England. You know, before you, they were talking like Christian Casanova. He did that. He went to NXT. But, you know, you're actually next in line to break out.
That's what everybody's saying. I just kind of take things one day at a time.
He already broke out.
Yeah.
He already broke out. That's the thing. They keep calling him all the time saying, hey, come, we're holding out for more money. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, no need to sell, you know, you know what your own worth is. And that's the thing, Ken, you know, you've always kind of known your worth. I remember, like I said, when I'm seeing you in NCW, you know, you held your own as champion. You did even your part with Vern. I know you weren't even too happy having to tag with them. It's kind of a makeshift tag, but you made it work and you made it successful.
Yep. You know, that's kind of what my philosophy in life is. Whatever you're taking, you got to make it as successful as possible, you know?
So you started training these places. When was your first match?
My first match was the Turkey Rumble at UFO Wrestling in South Boston in November of 2016. And I was such a promising athlete that, of course, I won my debut match and won the Turkey Rumble trophy.
Oh, that's awesome. Pat puts on good shows. I like Pat.
Pat does fun stuff, yeah.
And there's not much wrestling in Boston in that area, so it's always great to see when UFO comes there, because it really isn't. Me from the Metro West, it's like I have to drive in South Shore way far north.
Yeah, they're really like probably the closest place to wrestling in Boston. I definitely have ever done. They've done like, you know, like Southie. They did Southie, legitimate, like right off of D Street, so in the Tyranny Community Center.
Yeah. So you know, you go in. And how was that first match? Did you have like a lot of nerves walking into it, or were you kind of just, you know, ready?
Oh, I was just ready. I was always, you know, good at wrestling and kind of just understood wrestling. So I was never nervous, never scared, held my own, and you know, I won. So like, how more prepared could I have been?
Did you do a lot of athletics in high school?
Yeah, I was the captain of the varsity swim team. And then varsity football as well.
Okay, so you had that, you know, that background already installed to be an athlete, and you found your calling. You know, like a lot of the old wrestlers did. A lot of wrestlers came from, you know, football backgrounds or sports backgrounds. Not so much, you know, right from the wrestling field, but yeah. So okay, so you know, you started working at scene. You know, like I said, I saw you in NCW, and then you were done there. You know, you finished. I think you got as far as you could go there, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's no more high you can go as champion. There was no more story you could be run. You did all you could do there. And so you moved on. And then I saw you pop up in one of my favorite promotions, and that's Limitless.
Yeah.
And, you know, you popped up with another good friend of, you know, the industry that I think is another top, you know, contender in this industry, and that's BRG, you know. You guys have had, you know, kind of this crossing of paths throughout your whole careers. Whether it be, you know, the Top Road, whether it be Limitless, wherever it might be.
Yeah, our paths have been intertwined for sure.
But I saw you out there and you had the tag team thing going, and that was pretty interesting. But then I thought something really great happened. You know, you had Matt Daniels coming in with John Albert, and you guys formed, I think, probably, you know, one of the greatest trios to ever exist in the scene. And I say that for so many reasons. You know, just like one of your first moments was just pissing off the crowd pretending to be AG. You know, everybody was banking on AG. He just got fired from WWE. They were banking on him to get back, and they dropped the music. Everybody's chanting. Out comes you, BIG, and Mac, and everybody's faces dropped.
Yeah,
What a moment.
that was one of my most favorite moments at Limitless. I think was when AG got fired and we immediately made fun of him for it. That was awesome.
I mean, not for nothing. You guys have all worked together. I mean, you've worked with AG and Top Rope. You've worked with them in other promotions. You guys know each other. It's not like, you're just picking on some, random wrestler that just got fired. You've worked with the guy before.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
and in a lot of ways, I mean, I would say you're even at the same level, in ring. You like I said, you possess a certain quality that I don't see a lot on. I see a lot of high flyers, a lot of people looking for high end spots and this and that, but you bring something back to wrestling that is what it is, wrestling. Even prior when you were, running as a natural, it was even more like, it reminded me of almost like a young Ric Flair or, somebody from even the WCW days where they were really like these rappers.
yeah. I've always had like a good killer instinct in the ring. I think in like having that. Okay.
I was gonna say, when you were like watching wrestling, did you like watch any of the guys say, "Hey, I want to kind of be like this one or that one," or did you kind of just take things from yourself to put into this?
I mean, you definitely study tape. Like tape study is part of the job. It's very important. But I think most of the stuff I do in the ring is just what I like to see done in the ring. It's more of like what the type of wrestling that I like to see.
Now, when you got to Limitless, was that like a turning point? I know Limitless is like, it's on a lot of people's bucket list for wrestling. It's
For
something that
sure.
it's something they strive for. Because
Yeah.
it is a very good promotion. Like I said, the top two promotions I would say in New England are probably Beyond, and then it goes to Limitless. They get the largest numbers, they get the largest balls, they get the largest IWTV viewers, they get the largest YouTubes.
Yep.
So you got in with them. Was it something that you were like working towards at the time?
Well, I wrestled for them at the Vacation Land Cup in 2019 in like a scramble.
Yeah.
And I've been working for Randy for like probably since like 2018. Yeah, it's like 2018, maybe even late 2017. So it's always been like those shows have always just looked the coolest. They looked like the most fun. I would go to them to help out, and I always had a good time. And I can't say that for every show I've been to that I've helped out at. Yeah, just definitely one of the most sought after places to be in New England. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the most sought after independents in America at this point.
It is, and I mean, you're holding a title that's been held by like MJF, Christian Casanova, AG and
Garcia.
stuff, and others. And these people have, MJF especially has moved on and has become a top attraction in the country, and even out of the country. He's one of the greatest probably mouthpieces in the industry. But it all started, in a place in Maine, and here you are, holding that same legacy. How does that feel?
It's most definitely a tall task to handle. It's kind of an immense weight on my shoulders. I feel it every day, but I don't let that slow me down. I don't let that stop me. I try not to compare myself to those guys because what makes those guys special and what makes me special, although they're similar, they are only for ourselves and for like I couldn't be MJF, I couldn't be Casanova, but they couldn't be Channing Thomas either.
No, 100%. I get that. Everybody has their unique kind of what they're bringing to the table. Like I said, nobody right now that I can watch on any of the, I can put on IWTV now and change it everywhere. There's nobody that's got your similar style right now. And that's impressive because a lot of guys do see, something that's on, it's working, let's run with it. And everybody runs with the same thing, and then every show looks the same. You stick with your own true self, and you just keep working what you work. And I commend that. Now, up in Maine, the trios thing was going okay, and then, shit happens, let's say. It all broke apart. You kind of got lost in the shuffle there between things. B.I.G. and Mac, they were going at it, and you got kind of in the mix, and then you broke up, and then, you kind of were feeling a little lost and a little bit out. And
For
sure. Then clarity happened. We'll call it.
That's an interesting name. I would call him SIdney Bakabella.
Well, yes. That was his nickname. SIdney Bakabella, former WWF Hall of Famer. One of the better, I would say, managers in professional wrestling. I put him up there with Heenan and Fuji, honestly, because he can work that. He can work that. Now he approached you. You approached him. How did this happen?
You know what? After Prestigious, after the catastrophe that was the ending of Prestigious, and just how I felt and how I was treated by John Alba at that point, where I was feeling almost used, I would say the word is. I was feeling used. I needed someone that I knew would have my back. And it's no secret that me and SIdney Bakabella and I, excuse me, it's no secret that we've been working together. We've been working together around New England, and that we were cultivating something that was so powerful and so unique that everyone wanted to see, and something so special that you don't really see a lot of nowadays. And I just had to bring that to Yarmouth. I needed someone that would have my back, and the fans needed something that they haven't seen before.
I'll be honest with you. I had seen you elsewhere prior to. I had seen you elsewhere with Bakabella, and I didn't know if it was just going to be, an all-around thing, if it was just, a promotional thing, what it was going to be. But then what it turned out to be was something very exciting because, Bakabella, like I said, one of my favorites. I traveled all the way to Jersey to see him wrestle in 21 to see up Abby Jane. It was like an 8-hour drive. We had to sleep in this motel that smelled of cigarettes. It was horrible. But it was a good time. And if I like you as a wrestler, I'm going to travel. So, when I saw you guys traveling across, I'm like, this is great. I hope and pray that this makes it up to Maine. Because if this makes it up to Maine, this is gold. If we get Bakabella and Limitless, it's awesome. We've seen incarnations and so forth, but not this. And, it was great when you, debuted. And, world class. And I think, it took fans a little bit time in Maine to get to put the respect on you that you deserve, but I think soon they realized what they were dealing with.
Yeah.
Soon and shortly started taking over and started, picking up victories and doing things that nobody has ever done in Limitless before.
And that's a testament to him. That's not a testament to me. He just needed someone, behind the scenes saying, hey, what you're doing to a guy that could be your top attraction, it's detrimental not only to your wrestling company. I said this to Randy. Randy, if you keep treating Channing Thomas the way you're treating him, you'll be out of business in 2 months. The people want to see Channing Thomas. Channing Thomas and I, there's one word to describe us. We are an attraction. Okay? Where Randy has Channing Thomas as the champion. Whether we are the opening match, the main event, or anywhere else on the card, we are an attraction wherever we go. And they pony up a lot of money right now to see us because he is so good. He brings the best out of me, and I bring the best out of Channing Thomas.
Let me ask you, on an average, how many seats do you think you guys are pulling?
How many what?
Seats do you think you guys are pulling, off the card? How many seats are you filling with your name attached to this card? Or any card?
I would say we had to turn people away a couple of weeks ago at Wrestling Open because everyone in Worcester is talking about Channing Thomas and Bakabella. What are they going to do? How are they going to do it? They want to see us now. You could put a steel cage on a card. It doesn't matter. The people, the young, hot babes, the hot dudes, they come out to see SIdney Bakabella and Channing Thomas week after week. In the last year, we performed in front of over 350,000 people around the country. No one else can say that.
No, that's impressive numbers. And And that's a lot of shows.
Yeah. I mean, when we first started working together, I said, you know what? You're going to do the majority of the bookings. I maybe want to do 50. And then it turns out, oh, we're onto something right now. And 50 becomes 125. And then it was 115 or 130. Like, we can't, I'm tired. And Channing Thomas just keeps going because he is a Division I athlete. So he just keeps on going. I got to keep up with him. I fell asleep up behind the wheel on New Year's Eve for 45 miles. And I ended up home because I'm a machine and I know what I'm doing. But I got to keep up with this guy.
I mean, it doesn't help that he wins gold in almost every promotion he enters. I mean, he won. He was live pro champion, top rope champion. You know, he keeps carrying gold. So the more gold, the more bookings.
That's right. We're going to have to hire another young boy just to carry all the belts.
That is great, you know, and like I said, you know, it was great to see Channing, you turn around like this because, like I said, you were in a slump, but I see you elsewhere doing good, and I did like, you know, at the time that was right around the NCW ending, you know, you finished off with Burn and all of that, and I was just, like I said, anticipating, you know, you weren't coming back there, but, you know, I was eager to actually see you wrestle. I was, you know, into it. Like they said, people wanted to see you wrestle. You know, out of that whole prestigious debacle, it seemed that Mac and, you know, BIG kind of got, you know, the headline of that. And they were fighting over the left wrestling title. And they were going after each other for that. And like I said, you know, you found Bakabella and he found you and he kind of steered you in this right direction. And the tour takes off.
The night before, the show before, Bakabella's managerial debut of World Class, I actually suffered the quickest loss in Limitless history. I believe it was 8 seconds, maybe 18. I think it was 8 seconds. Quickest loss in Limitless history. And we're probably looking at one of the biggest turnarounds in all of sports right now, going from the quickest loss in history to champion in less than a year. That's truly spectacular and remarkable, if you ask me.
It is. And it's not even just how you became champ. I mean, it's not even that you became champ, it's how you became champ. I mean, let's not forget, you won the Vacation Land Cup first. I mean, how many competitors do you have to be? What, 3?
3 in the finals.
Oh, two, and then it's a scramble.
Yeah, so 1 and then a fatal 4-way. So I wrestled Ichiban in the first round, then Becca, Bufa, Alec in the finals.
You got 3, you know, top names in this industry as well. You know, all making waves, all on, you know, making waves across New England. But you come out victorious in that. And then you do something even more incredible. You challenge the new champion, Rip, and you beat him.
Yep.
In the same night.
In the same night. 3. It's an endurance contest. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And with Rip trying to run to Japan, he was hightailing it out there as quick as he could.
Rip got robbed worse than like Bret Hart in '93 when, you know, Hogan came in and snatched the title off Zona. That was crazy.
The locals of Yarmouth, Maine refer to that night as the Yarmouth Miracle. Because
what was that one more time?
Which we knew he was going. Oh, the Yarmouth Miracle. That's what they refer to this as.
I love it.
The Vacation Land Cup, and that's what the locals the elder locals call it. It's become folklore over the last 50 years. People are already talking to their grandchildren about the night Channing Thomas won the Vacation Land Cup and then saved the Limitless Wrestling Championship from being stolen in Japan by the Yakuza. And Channing Thomas is the miracle. He's the Yarmouth Miracle, the main miracle.
You know, and I would say it is a miracle. That was such a great night. I watched it from home. I wasn't feeling that well, so I watched it on IWTV, and I was just jumping for joy when I saw what happened. And Like I said, I'm always rooting for Channing. Even when I talk, to other wrestlers that might be gunning for you, I will tell them, watch out, because you're not going to be better than Channing. I'll tell you, I had his birthday today, Big Boofer. I had him on my show.
Who?
Desmond Cole. You'll see.
Never heard of him. Never
No.
heard of the guy.
Right, but he's a local guy, He was gunning for Channing. I told him, I said, Channing's the best. You're going to have trouble with it. You might want to go after somebody else. And that's, you might
just
be the
keeps
best wrestler
coming,
in the
though.
world, but Channing is better.
I got to hand it to Buffa. He doesn't know when to quit. He just keeps coming.
He gets more title matches than Charles Manson gets parole opportunities. It's disgusting. He's got nude pictures of Randy Carver. I'm telling you right now. He's got
to have something.
He's got nudes.
Well, I'm waiting for the Cat Williams of the indie scene to come out and really spill the beans, but that'll be for another episode.
Oh, I'll give it to you right now. Let's go. I'll tell you who everyone is. I'll spill the beans.
Okay, so I got there again. I saw a very nice party. I have to say, you throw one hell of a party, Bakabella.
Oh, I watch a lot of HGTV. I know how to throw a party, all right? And that party right there, we were 6 midgets short of the greatest party I've ever thrown.
We really were.
I mean, it was something special. And you even got another legend involved. You brought in Doink, which, that brings me right back to my childhood. I haven't seen him since, like 95.
Yeah,
it was the real one. We dug him up. We got him there. We got the real one. We got the real one.
He took up 60%.
That might really move a lot, but I mean, he was good. I was very excited, but then the party got spoiled.
Between Doink, SIdney Bakabella, and myself, that little party, that celebration, took up 75% of Randy Carver's budget that night. So, very expensive party.
Now, let me ask you something. You started watching around 2005. Did you actually go back and study Doink or watch Doink?
Me?
Prior?
I love Doink.
So you've obviously watched old wrestling, then. You just didn't watch from 2005 on. You went back and watched all the old stuff.
Of course.
He works with me.
My favorite Doink match is King's Court versus Clowns R Us from Survivor Series.
I was there.
You were there?
Third row. I was there.
What year was that? 93?
93.
93.
No, 90. Was it? No, 93. Yeah, 93, because, it was right after, because they had the Crush, and then they did the King of the Ring to set it kind of up. 93.
That's right. 94 was when the Bushwhackers and Men on a Mission were Doink.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't like that as much, but that King's Court Clowns R Us match, one of the greatest Survivors, probably the second best Survivor Series match in the history of the Survivor Series. The only one better was Goldberg Brock Lesnar that lasted like a minute, and I love that match.
I go back further. My favorite match has to be when Fuji turned on Demolition.
And went with the Powers of Pain. That's right. And
that was a wild match, and there was a lot of good names in that.
Yeah, it was the original double turn.
One of my favorite tag teams, though, the Conquistadors, were in there.
All the way to the finals. Who would have thunk it? If you would have put money on the Conquistadors, if you would have put $100, you would have won $75,000, which today is about $87 million. If you would have
nobody would have ever thought that would have happened. It was just very underrated. But that's when wrestling was different. It was more spontaneous. You didn't know what the hell was going to happen.
Nope, not at all. And a lot of times with us, you still don't. Because there are nights where you think Channing Thomas is going to do one thing, and then he completely – did you see the thing that he did where he jumped on the chair, the top rope, and then the person? I didn't even know he could do that. I'm standing there like, what is he doing? And boom, blew me away.
That was the first time I ever tried it.
That's wild. And you pulled it off.
Yeah. Of course I pulled it off. Why wouldn't I?
You're like the modern day Mr. Perfect.
No, I'm world class. I'm better.
That's right.
Love it.
He is better than all those jabrones. This is the guy right here. This right here. I don't know. You have a future billionaire on your podcast. I don't think you realize it yet. That's how big this is.
Oh, this is my best guess. This definitely is my best guess.
I'm the VSW Wrestler of the Year.
You're on the cover of the magazine, which is out on sale now through Lulu and will be available on Amazon starting next month.
There we go.
We're all fine booksellers. We're all any fine booksellers where books are sold. You could find that.
So yeah, whatever few is left. There's not many places left. The internet kind of killed that.
Yeah, the internet also killed my X-rated video store too. I have 2 tapes I have to return, and I've had to return them now for about 18 years. I can't imagine the late fees on them.
On the late fees of those places would double what Blockbuster was.
Blockbuster needed one of those dirty rooms.
Yeah, they never had one. I worked for them, and I actually asked why we didn't have one. They were like, "Oh, we make enough money on video games." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's for kids. What about for the other adults?"
What about the lonely guy that's playing the video? What happens when you beat the game in 24 hours? What are you going to do? Because it's a 48-hour rental. Am I right?
It is. You're wasting your money. You're wasting it.
That was the biggest problem I had with Blockbuster.
Yep. You know, that and their lack of wrestling tapes. Their lack of wrestling was terrible. I used to go to a local mom and pop place because they would carry all the original Coliseum videos, and I would get into all those, the Hulkamania ones, and then like the weirdest wrestling matches and Wild World of Sports of Wrestling, and all those, fantastic little weird shows they did back in the 80s and 90s. I would, take those home, and those I would keep for like a week. 48 hours wasn't even enough, so I'd rewatch them until it wouldn't work anymore.
There was one, I don't know what it was, but I purchased from the gimmick table a Best of the Berserker 7-disc set.
Wow.
And there was a clip from a Coliseum video where the Berserker threw a party. And it was just the greatest thing I'd ever seen. It's just John Nord walking around all coked up and pilled up and doing crazy antics. I absolutely loved it. I love those Coliseum.
He's going around going, husk. Like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Berserker throws a party. I got to try to find it now.
I wonder who would throw a better party, Berserker or Marty Jannetty?
Oh, depends on what kind of drugs you want.
That's the problem. He's on my feed. For some reason, I find it entertaining to follow him, and every once in a while, like, he'll pop up and he'll just say the weirdest, wildest shit.
One of my favorite Marty Jannetty stories was he shows up to an event I'm on in Connecticut, and I've known Marty for many years, and Marty gets out of the car, gives me a big hug, and he's like, "Sydney, I'm really, really drunk." And I'm like, "Oh, shit." And he has a brilliant idea. He says, "Hold my hand while we walk into the building so they think I'm gay and not drunk." You know what? I'm a worker. We're going to do it. Like, we walked in, interlocked fingers, and we walked into that building, and Marty Jannetty thought it was working. Yeah, it was one of my favorites. He thought it was working. He was giving everybody the handshakes and everything else while he and I were holding hands, so that way they thought he was gay as opposed to being drunk.
A kiss would have sealed the deal.
I would have done it. I'm a worker.
Oh, I know.
$25, man. I'll do it.
But for 30, you kicked him through the barber room window.
30, he gets a handy.
Ooh.
Okay, that's like one of the wild stories. I have a wild wrestling story. One time, I'll tell you, it's kind of weird and quirky, but it wasn't me, so I'm not really incriminated. But I was with a friend, and he liked, the light stuff. So we was in Boston, whatever. We're on the red line, key line, I don't know. He goes, "I got to go see my dude." I said, "Okay." We taking a walk. He goes and meets him. I look over, and who is it? I wanted to get a freaking haircut. It was Bruce the Barber Beefcake out there, selling the powder. And wasn't shortly after that he got popped for it too.
I love it. That was before the anthrax thing, right?
Yeah. It was wild, though. Wild when I saw it. I was like, and, it wasn't a time when phones were really prominent, so I wasn't, today I would have been like filming the whole thing, but I was just like, wow. I don't know if I should go over there and be like, what's up, or whatever. I just stayed away. I didn't want to get involved, but it was quite a sight.
You should have got an autograph.
I should
Oh,
have.
that's my hot babe wife. You can't see her. My hot babe wife is on the other side of this here. She's going to bed right now.
Good night, hot babe wife.
I'll be in there in a few minutes. She said no, guys. She said no. The store's closed.
Oh. So, Shannon, now you had the party. It got spoiled by, I would say, one of Maine's favorite, Ace Romero. Everybody loves AC out there. Maine's favorite kid. He comes back. He's another one that's gotten a lot of title shots over the years. He challenges you. How do you handle it? Now, this is your first title defense. How are you going into this strategic? Well, that's what happened off his head when the match started. But what was the thought going into this?
I went into this match, and all I could think about was the humiliation, the embarrassment, the anger that I felt when Ace Romero ruined my celebration. And I didn't go in thinking I would win the match. I went in with the plan to hurt Ace Romero and make sure that he would never wrestle ever again. And I thought we executed that pretty well when we smacked him over the head with a chair, but I bloodied him up. It felt great. And then we realized something. We left the Limitless wrestling belt inside the ring.
That's my bad.
You can't leave without the belt.
No, they'll steal it.
Well, we left it in the ring and he had it. So when he picked it up and he said, "You're not going anywhere without this," and he said it was an anything goes match, I knew I was in for the fight of my life.
He's lucky it wasn't New York. If it was New York, they would have stopped it right then and there and sent him home.
I wish it was New York. I didn't want to wrestle that match.
But you did. You did wrestle. And I thought you did pretty well. I mean, well, you came out victorious, but I mean, was it a tough fight?
I did great. Ace is a tough competitor.
He is. It's nothing, I made a little joke, he's his favorite son, but, let's not forget, he's also been Impact. He's also been in the first AEW Royal Rumble, Battle Royal, whatever that was. He's been on TV. He's been across the country. He's been to other countries. He's a formidable competitor. He is
tough competition. But there is nothing that I'm afraid of, and there's no person I will not defend this championship against. If you test me, if you back me into a corner, I'll strike.
That's a dangerous man right there, To back somebody into a corner is something you don't want to do, especially somebody dangerous like that, because you do strike back, and you strike hard, and you strike to win.
Yes.
And that's, that's how you opened it up, and even though it didn't stop the match, it probably put a good dent, at least if not in his head, in the way the match was going. It slowed him down a little bit.
It definitely slowed him down.
But, you would take that victory and, later that night you'd be called out once again by, a Desmond Cole and JT Dunn.
He didn't call me out. He literally just came into the ring and started punching me. After I wrestled, he got a nice little rest. I wrestled the match and he started beating me up after. Where's the justice in that?
Well, there isn't. I mean, and not for nothing. I mean, okay, JT Dunn has been there from the beginning. I get it. He's been in Limitless a long time. He's done great things in Chaotic. The units are very nice, little stable across New England. It does pretty good. He even has, AC in there sometimes, down in Chaotic. Cool stuff, good shit. But what makes him qualified to even be in contendership in Limitless? What has he done in Limitless lately? He even put him in the same class as world class champions.
All he's done is
better competitors out there.
All he's done is run his mouth. And that's all he ever has done is talk, 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 talk. And his mouth gets him into trouble. And on January 20th, there will be no bigger trouble than when he is in the ring with me. He thinks that he is a person who is respected by the fans and by wrestlers. He is not. And I'm going to show him that.
Now, I got a question. In a normal title match, the name of the game is they have to beat you, and it's hard to do. You have ways out. You can get yourself, kicked out. You can get a count out. You can walk away, but they have to pin you to actually take that title. And this is going to be a little different. They can beat each other to win. How does that affect your mindset?
Kind of scares me because I know Desmond Cole's a loser. I know JT Dunn is a loser. And I'm not really concerned with them beating me. I'm more concerned with one of them beating each other.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't necessarily have to lose this match to lose that title. One of these, guy could just pin the other one real quick, and then, it's over. That's scary.
It is scary. It is scary. But we're going to be prepared. We're going to be ready. We're not taking this challenge lightly at all. And we'll have something in store for both of them.
You know what really annoys me about this is that it's not a triple threat match. It's not a handicap match. It is a handicap match, I should say. That's what this is. This is a handicap match. This is a blatant embarrassment to the sanctity of the Limitless Wrestling Championship. And the fact that they can go ahead and book your champion against two guys that, are both trying to beat Channing Thomas, it's an absolute embarrassment. And I'm disgusted by Randy Carver and the Limitless Wrestling office. I think it's an absolute embarrassment.
Well, why not make them fight each other first and then winner fights Channing? Why not do it something more fair?
Because nothing is fair. Nothing is fair with this guy right here. Nothing is fair with Randy Carver. Randy Carver just wants to embarrass people. This guy right here pointing at you. He's the guy that's the problem. And we're just going to Channing Thomas is just going to keep winning. That's all this is. So it could be 18-man match. Channing Thomas would still win.
Okay, and I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. So after this match, Channing, is there anybody on the roster or anybody that you're dying to face? Like a dream match for you right now?
A dream match?
Yeah.
There's one guy out there. He's really good. I think it would be amazing money. I think all the people would go. If you could clone me and have me wrestle me.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Who do we contact? Elon Musk? I mean, who has this technique? Who has the capability to do this? Somebody does. I mean, they've been cloning sheep. They've cloned some humans in Canada. Somebody can do this.
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
But if you can do that and book yourself against yourself, who would win? Which version of you would win?
The fans would win. The fans.
That would be an amazing matchup. I do got some fan questions. People actually wrote to me. They don't usually write to me on fan questions, but you guys actually got some, which is pretty cool. People actually like you guys. That's awesome.
We're over. We're an attraction. That's what this is. Yeah, I did I did a podcast the other day too, where they're like, "Oh, we got our very first ever question," and I'm like, "What? Of course you did. They want to know. Look, you got world-class Channing Thomas. Of course they want to know."
First up was for you, Cities. They said, what did you think of the Von Erich biopic, and was it accurate?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Someone on this podcast was supposed to take me to go see the Von Erich movie, and that where they talk about me and everything else. And we decided to get food instead, and I had a shitty cheeseburger.
You did have a bad cheeseburger, but it was not my fault. It was not my fault that you didn't see it.
No,
These
the
promoters
shows
in their
ran
damn
over.
call times.
Yeah. So essentially, wrestling promoters, they want wrestlers at the building 8 hours before the show starts. I can get there during the intros of match one, walk to the rig with Channing Thomas, and we're gonna have the best match on the card. I don't need to be there 8 hours and I missed the Von Erichs movie because I have no friends in real life. So I can't go see it.
Well, hopefully it'll be out streaming soon enough. Next one's up for you, Channing. I got a question for you. What has been your
I
most favorite
enjoyed the
match?
Von Erich biopic. I thought it was really well done.
He's seen it twice.
I saw it twice.
You saw it twice. You didn't even record it for him.
What? I was gonna bring him, and I was gonna see it a third time that weekend. But these damn wrestling promoters in their call times.
Yeah, I know it's early. And but the thing is I don't think. I mean, you guys are professionals, but some people aren't. You give a late call time, and then they take advantage of it. It's like 5 minutes before their match, and they're struggling in with their 2 bags of gear, and they don't even know which character they're playing, and it's just a shit show.
Yeah.
But they should allow the good ones to at least, get some credit and maybe come an hour early instead of 8.
Yeah.
What has been your most favorite match since your world-class transformation?
Ooh, there's so many. My 2 favorite right now are probably my most recent title defense against Ace Romero and my hour-long Iron Man match against Alec Price. Those have probably been my 2 favorites at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to go with those 2.
I got another question for you that came in. Do you ever get tired of fighting Nico Silva? Honestly, I can't make this shit up.
I don't get tired of fighting Nico Silva because I have beaten Nico Silva multiple times. All I care about are wins and losses. That's it.
It's a night off at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of like training, getting some ring time, just easy payday. Easy payday. Sydney, out of all the people in the industry, there's been a lot. You've seen a lot. You've been on Beyond. You've been on these places, Chicago, everywhere. What did you see in Shan that really said, "Hey, this is the next top attraction"?
So, true story. One of my favorite wrestlers is Nick Bockwinkel. And I can watch Nick Bockwinkel for hours upon hours. And I don't know why I even watched his match. It was at the Brockton VFW. I remember where it was.
Probably
And
against Nico.
it was probably against Nico. And I remember just peeking through watching it. And then I couldn't stop watching it because he would do the old things correctly. And I loved it. So I gave him some advice that wasn't good advice to see if he would do it. And that meant he could listen and he was coachable because he did it. And then from there, my brain just starts going. I'm like, okay, I've got all these ideas. I've got everything ready to go here. Let's go and let's make a ton of money.
That is great, and he definitely has those qualities. And like I said, he brings wrestling back to an older time of wrestling when people actually wrestled. It wasn't just super kick upon super kick. It's actually
and not for nothing. I get messages, and I used to get them a lot. Now people understand what's going on, but I'll still get a lot of people every now and then just saying, "Hey, I'd like for you to manage me," and my answer is always no. I am 100% focused on Channing Thomas. My best interest is his best interest. So I want to make sure that my focus is 100% on him. So no Desmond Cole, I will not manage you. No MSP, I will not manage you. No to everyone that messages me today, I will not manage you.
Wait. Who reached out from MSP? Aggro or Danger Key?
Both of them, all 3 of them, they wanted me to manage them. Nico Silva wanted me to manage him. Jobs wanted me to manage him. Bob Evans wants me to manage him. My answer is no all the time.
No, and you got to stay where the money is, and the money is with Channing Thomas. I have to agree. I got one more question for you, and I'll let you boys go. I know you guys got a very busy schedule. Is there any
You are so
promotion-
high. You are so high right now. I can tell.
You are so high.
Sorry.
I
And
love it.
in 24, is there any promotion across the country that you really want to try to get to and work in territory, a different territory?
Wow. That's a wonderful question. I don't know if I should answer it because my 2024 is looking very interesting at this point. What can we say?
You know what? The WWF.
Yeah,
I think that's the answer. Is the WWF. Let's get back to New York. Let's get Channing Thomas to New York, to that New York territory. Finally, they've been begging and begging, and I think that's the goal: is to get the numbers right, and let's get to the WWF.
I mean, I think MSG would be a good start.
I think so too. I think MSG would be a good start. I'd like the Kiel Auditorium. I'd like the Summit down in Houston. I'd like to go back to all my old stomping grounds. St. Paul. Let's go to St. Paul.
But you know, I see, honestly, God, I see this popping around every once in a while on my timeline. Somebody's trying to like rekindle UWF. That's another one.
You know what? I was good friends with Herb Abrams. We did a lot of drugs together. Herb Abrams, one of the best guys I know. If he ever started up again, we'd be there in a second.
And I think that would move numbers. I think this would actually beat Vince this time. If he had Channing then, he would have beat Vince.
You know what? Channing Thomas working for Herb Abrams would be bigger than when Andre the Giant worked for Herb Abrams back in '91.
It would have been. That would have been something. And actually, I do actually have one more question because this is actually a personal question of mine.
1 second.
You are the master of the pile driver. How did you perfect that? Because not a lot of people do. It's banned in WWE. How did you become so good at that?
A complete lack of care for my opponent.
I love that answer. That's the right answer.
Rocky Four. If he dies, he dies.
That's it.
He dies.
You know, everybody's like, is he safe with it? No, we're trying to win. That's the answer.
Well, that's the key. Winning. Winning is the goal here. This is a business. The business is to make money, and you do that by winning.
That's right. Channing, you wanted to say something else?
Yeah, just going back to the 2024. We're gonna go to a lot of new different territories, and we're gonna do a lot of international work, and I will leave it at that. New territories, and we are going international.
Ooh, I'm glad I have my passport and it's still valid.
Look at that. You got a scoop. You got a scoop, Versace Stoner. Nobody else is everyone else is gonna give you the same canned answers. You know, honestly, just interview us every week. We'll give you actual scoops.
That's what I need, good scoops, not just, the same old answers. But thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it and taking the time. We'll see you in Limitless next week.
Wait, at Chan Thomas Pro, ChanThomaspro. That's Chan Thomas Pro. That's on X. That's on Instagram. That's on Venmo. And you can catch me at the merch table.
Do you have like a pro wrestling t-shirt store too?
No pro wrestling tees. You will catch me at the merch table.
What about you, Bakabella? Where can they buy your stuff?
I got a pro wrestling tee store that I never go to.
I've been to it. I own those free shirts.
There we go. See that? ProWrestlingTees.com/SIdney Bakabella. You could follow me around the territories. You get in your 78 Lincoln Continental. You drive down the Jersey Turnpike. That's how you follow me. Or if you go to any of Channing Thomas's social media, you'll be able to find me somewhere on there because I don't know the first thing about it.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's how you can find these great guys and buy great merch. Definitely visit those tables. It's worth it. They'll give you a good. The more you spend, the more you'll get. I promise you.
That's right.
And we will see you hopefully. I don't think say hopefully. You guys will be winning that championship, taking it back, beating those other two guys, and on to the next one.
On to the next one.
On to the next one.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Take care.
And thank you, everybody at home, for watching. This has been a great episode of VSW Podcast. Have yourself a great night. Besides, go out. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Take care. Thank you.